Every time you speak, the person listening is making a decision. Is this someone I should take seriously, or someone I can safely ignore? What's surprising is that their brain starts answering that question before it fully processes your words. Most people think executive presence comes from confidence or charisma. Some others think trust and respect come only after they hear what you have to say. We believe that if we get the facts right, explain clearly and sound smart enough, people will listen and trust us. It isn't. That's why some people articulate their thoughts clearly and instantly command attention, while others have equally good ideas but get ignored silently. It's about how another person's brain interprets the signals you're sending. The human brain evolved to read certainty before it evaluates competence. It pays attention to your voice, your posture, your pace, your emotional state, and even how comfortable you are with silence. Those signals shape how people experience your message long before they judge the message itself. The surprising part is that most of us accidentally send the opposite signals. We over-explain, we fidget, we soften our opinions, we avoid difficult conversations. We let our emotions dictate how we show up, not because we're weak. Once you understand what's happening beneath the surface, these behaviors stop feeling like flaws. They become patterns you can interrupt. So let's break down the 5 hidden behaviors quietly destroying your executive presence, what's really happening inside your brain, and how to stop letting your nervous system speak before you do. Let's start with the first habit that quietly kills your presence: over-explaining. I used to do this all the time. I thought if I gave every detail, every angle, every possible point, people would understand perfectly. But one of the biggest surprises in neuroscience is this: the brain hates uncertainty more than it hates being wrong. Your brain works like a prediction machine. It's constantly trying to guess what will happen next, so it can keep you feeling safe. When it can't predict, it treats uncertainty like a threat. That's why people ramble, repeat themselves, rush to fill gaps, or keep talking long after the point is made. They aren't trying to communicate better. They're just trying to calm their own nervous system. Your brain would rather have a messy answer than no answer at all. And here's another thing we don't realize. Silence feels uncomfortable only because your brain thinks it means danger. When there's a pause, most of us jump in to fill it. Why? Because in that quiet moment, your brain starts making up stories. Maybe they disagree. Maybe I sounded stupid. Maybe I didn't explain well enough. But the truth is, the other person's brain is probably just processing what you said. It needs time to turn sound into meaning. The people who can stay comfortable in silence always appear more confident. They aren't forcing the conversation. They're giving their listeners time to catch up instead of trying to control every second. Next, stop fidgeting. We've all seen it happen. Someone stands up and says, "I'm confident and in control," but while they speak, they're biting their nails, twisting their hair, tapping their foot, shifting their weight, or touching their face over and over again. Here is the rule your brain follows without you even thinking. It always believes the body before it believes the voice. We have something called mirror neurons. They automatically pick up on the energy and movements of others. If your words say one thing and your body says another, the brain will trust the body's signal every single time, because body language is older, faster, and more honest than speech. And here's another fact that changes everything. Your nervous system is contagious. Researchers call this emotional contagion. Humans unconsciously sync with one another through facial expressions, breathing, tone, posture, even heart rate. If you walk into a room feeling anxious, everyone else becomes slightly more alert and guarded. If you stay calm when things feel uncertain, other people's brains will unconsciously settle into that same calm. When you hold a steady posture, you send a signal to your own brain that says, "I am safe, I am in control." Your stress levels drop, and your confidence rises from the inside out. Third, stop asking for permission to lead. Have you ever noticed what happens when a group doesn't have a clear leader? Most of us grow up believing leadership is something we're given. We wait for the title. We wait until we have more experience. We wait for someone to tell us it's our turn. But leadership rarely works that way. Leaders aren't appointed. They're recognized. Remember how we talked about the brain being obsessed with certainty? The same thing happens whenever people find themselves in a group, a project, or any uncertain situation. Every brain in that room is quietly scanning for the same thing, certainty. What happens when no one steps up? Everyone waits. Ideas get discussed, but nobody wants to make the first decision. It's not because people lack ability. It's because uncertainty makes the brain cautious. Then someone finally says, "Here's the plan." Not the loudest person, not necessarily the smartest person, just the person willing to replace uncertainty with clarity. Almost instantly, the energy in the room changes. people stop wondering what to do next and start asking practical questions. When do we begin? Who's taking care of this? What's the deadline? Nothing magical happened. Why does this work so well? That's because the human brain naturally follows the person who reduces uncertainty. And here is one of the most surprising facts we rarely talk about. Social rejection activates many of the same brain regions as physical pain. Studies show that being excluded, criticized, or judged lights up the same areas as getting hurt. To your brain, there is not much difference between I got hurt and everyone in this room thinks I don't know what I'm doing. That's why speaking up or stepping forward can make your heart race, your hands shake, your breath go shallow. It feels like danger because your brain thinks it is danger, and here's the best part. Your brain can't actually tell the difference between surviving and leading. For nearly 300,000 years, speaking in front of the group meant life or death. If you spoke poorly or were rejected, you could be cast out of the tribe. And back then, being alone meant certain death. Today, speaking in a meeting or boardroom is just communication, but your brain still reacts as if you're standing around a campfire, risking your place in the group. Once you understand that, everything changes. You stop asking, "What is wrong with me?" and start asking, "What is my nervous system trying to protect me from?" That shift alone takes away the power of the fear. Leading isn't about being fearless. It's about recognizing that your brain is running ancient survival tactics in a modern world and choosing to create certainty anyway. Fourth, stop avoiding hard conversations. People will rarely say it to your face, but their brains are quietly counting every time you look away from the truth. Every time you soften what needs to be said, stay quiet when something is wrong, or dodge a difficult topic, you lose respect little by little. Why? Because clarity calms the brain. Confusion keeps it stressed. When you avoid speaking honestly, you leave uncertainty hanging in the air. People stay on edge, wondering what's really going on, reading between the lines, guessing what you're not saying. Your job as a leader is to be a truth teller. You have to tell the truth even if nobody else will. I once had a friend who would come to me over and over complaining about her relationship, but never took responsibility for her own part in the problems. For a long time I stayed quiet, thinking I was being kind. But then I realized avoiding the truth wasn't helping. It was letting her stay stuck. So I spoke calmly but directly. I can listen to you, but if you want real help, you have to be honest with yourself too. Otherwise, talking about it won't change anything. It felt uncomfortable in the moment, but afterward I felt more self-respect, and the conversation finally moved forward. Replace avoidance with composed honesty. You don't have to shout, attack, or be harsh. Just say what needs to be said clearly and calmly. When you do that, you clear the fog, you reduce uncertainty, and you become the person everyone looks to for real solutions. And finally, stop being inconsistent. If your mood changes like the weather, one day you're open, patient, and supportive, and the next you're short, distant, and easily annoyed, you are not leading. You are just reacting to your own emotions. Remember how emotions are contagious? When you are unpredictable, other people's brains never know what to expect. They stay in a state of high alert, always wondering, what mood will they be in today? How will they react? That constant uncertainty drains energy and slowly erodes trust. I once worked under a manager who knew every detail of the job and was technically very skilled. But his mood depended entirely on what happened at home that morning. If he had a bad commute or an argument, the whole office felt it. He would raise his voice, rush people, and make everyone feel tense. Even though he was good at the work, no one respected him or wanted to follow him. Why? Because if you cannot regulate your own nervous system, people cannot trust you to regulate theirs. Replace inconsistency with predictability. When you stay steady, even when things go wrong, even when you feel stressed, even when you don't have all the answers, you send a powerful signal. No matter what happens, I am in control, so you can feel safe too. Consistency creates safety. And when people feel safe, they perform at their best. So, let's bring it all together. Executive presence is not about being loud, funny, or naturally charismatic. It's not about having the perfect words. It's about understanding how brains work and sending signals that say, I am steady, clear, and safe to follow. The best part? You don't have to add a dozen new habits to get there. You just have to stop doing the things that send the wrong signals. Stop over-explaining. Respect how the brain processes information. Stop fidgeting. Let your body show the confidence you want to feel. Stop asking for permission. Step up and reduce uncertainty. Stop avoiding hard conversations. Speak the truth calmly. And stop being inconsistent. Build safety through predictability. And always remember, the nervousness you feel is not a sign you are unfit to lead. It is just your brain using an ancient survival system in a modern world. Once you know that, you can stop fighting it and start leading anyway.